Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy and this is a channel about crafting, mostly cross stitch. How's everybody today? Today is, let me see, April 11th, if I'm not mistaken. It's Tuesday. Because I want to point out that my Stitch With Me's are usually a couple of days late. And so, like, if you see me say something in one video, and then there's like and the next couple of videos are kind of like, well, we already talked about this in a previous video, it's because by the time you see my Stitch With Me's, it's been a few days, sometimes like 2 or 3 days, sometimes a week at the most, because I hold my Stitch With Me's around my other videos. Like if I have a Flosstube that's going up, but I have a Stitch With Me that's already recorded, the Flosstube takes precedence and the Flosstube will get published first and then the Stitch With Me. So I hope that makes sense. I tend to keep the Stitch With Me's loaded, ready to go. So I hope that makes sense. I'm drinking coffee. I hope you can see. You're pretty zoomed in. You're gonna probably see me stop in a little bit to load my threads because I only have 2 here. Today I'll put a picture up. We're working on Pandemic from Long Dog Samplers, and yeah, I just hope that this angle works right now. I'm still kind of having a hard time with it. Like, I know how you guys need to be. The problem is that after I set you guys up and then I come sit down, I still have to like get into where I'm stitching here, and then I can't see you guys anymore. So, you know, I wish I could stitch with my camera the other way, but I can't because it doesn't zoom in the other way. So it is what it is. So yeah, let's see. You're probably gonna get some extra Stitch With Me's this week because I am going out of town. And so I'm pre-recording this one. Today's Tuesday. I just put a Stitch With Me up on Monday, Wednesday. So this one probably won't go up until maybe Saturday or Sunday because, let's see, I'm going to record here in a few hours. I'll explain that in a minute. I'm gonna do my floss tube early. So the last couple of weeks I've been putting up my floss tubes on Wednesday or Thursday. But today's Tuesday and I'm gonna have to record my floss tube today. Like I said, because we're going out of town on Thursday, and tomorrow I don't know if I'm gonna have time to record it and edit it and get it uploaded before I leave. Only because I don't want to be uploading it while I'm traveling, because then it's going to take hours and hours, because the road goes in and out of service, and then my mom's house does not have good internet in the slightest, and so it'll probably take like the whole time I'm there to upload. So I want to get it done before I go. And then you'll probably have another Stitch With Me that's gonna go up. I think I'm gonna put that Stitch With Me up on Wednesday, and then the floss tube I'm gonna record today, I'm gonna put up on Friday. And then this video I'm gonna put up on Sunday. That way, when I come back on Monday, I'm not like in a hurry to record. And then I can record a Stitch With Me on Tuesday and kind of be good to go. So yeah, but anyway, I was gonna tell you guys about why I'm filming right now. So it is like not even 6 o'clock in the morning right now. I don't know, I've been having a really hard time sleeping. I don't know if it's like a combination of everything, because I've got a lot on my plate. You know, and trying to find a new job, and really considering moving, and you know, on top of everything else that we worry about, you know, like my mom, she's retired, and you know, her and her husband are both on disability. My mom's got arthritis really bad, and my stepdad has a pacemaker, and you know, those are the normal things that I worry. I mean, not that they're normal, but you know, they're things that I worry about on a daily basis on top of everything else. You know, and then I have 3 kids. I'm a single parent type of thing, and it's just, you know, it's been a journey to say the least. I haven't been doing too hot in my graduate program right now. I haven't talked about this in a while, but I've got a lot of new subscribers, and you know, I also go to school full time. I'm in a master's program right now, getting my master's for mental health counseling to become a licensed mental health counselor. And I've been so overwhelmed that I've, you know, talked to my instructors that I will just be needing to take a break, and I will be resuming next semester with everything. And I'm honestly contemplating even taking next semester off. I'm not sure. You can take a semester off without being disenrolled from school. And so that's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm more than likely taking the summer off. I feel like I want to, for financial purposes, go to school, but I don't feel like that's a good reason to put all that stress on myself, because I'm already overwhelmed right now, and I don't want to register for classes just because I'm going to get some extra money that's going to help me through the summer or next semester, and have to register for classes because it's pretty stressful. You know, I think any graduate program is stressful, you know, whether it's online or not. It's still a lot, you know. I wanted to kind of talk about why I made the decision, or why I'm considering moving. I haven't really talked about this, but a huge factor in why I'm considering moving is I mentioned that I didn't have any family here, which is a huge part of why I want to move. But the main thing is that, aside from not having family here, like I've said, I don't necessarily feel safe in this town. There's been a lot of things that have gone on that I haven't talked about here on the channel, and 2021, you know, while it was a great year for discovery and, you know, learning to live on my own, and you know, showing my kids that we're going to be okay, that type of thing, it was also just a very trying year for me. Mentally, you know, I've been struggling with weight gain and trying to be be healthier and things like that. What it comes down to is, last year I had to file for an order of protection from somebody, and you know, it was a very stressful time for both myself and my children. And you know, it's been a lot of court dates, and it's been something else, you know. I was granted a permanent order of protection after several months. You have to go through a whole process. You know, I was given a temporary order first, and I had to keep providing evidence that I should be granted I'm getting a cramp in my back for some reason. that I should be granted a permanent order, which they call it a permanent order, which it really isn't because it still has an expiration date. But it's longer than the original, what's 6 months, I think, is what they typically grant it for after the temporary one. But even the 6 months is still considered a permanent order. It's kind of dumb, but anyway. So, you know, I've racked up thousands of dollars in attorney's fees, which I'm very thankful that I have an amazing attorney that's been working with me and letting me make payments, still representing me, even carrying a balance, which has been, I couldn't ask for anything better, because without that attorney, like, I seriously wouldn't be able to, I hope you guys can see, I wouldn't have been able to even grant my order of protection, or have my order of protection granted without my attorney. It's been crazy. I was being harassed, and this person would show up here unannounced. It would cause a lot of stress on my children. I'd get text messages, late at night, like, I'm outside, come outside right now, and it was very stressful, and it was getting to a point where it was getting a little bit physical, and being a parent, that's something that you don't really want to show to your children. And so it's like one of those things where you're trying not to make a scene at the same time, but you're also being physically hurt at the same time, not to mention the emotional distress that's causing. And it's like you kind of have to pick and choose your battles when you're going through something like that. And it's like, okay, how much do I want my child to see in order to get myself into a safe situation where I can stop this from happening? So unfortunately, there were numerous incidents where, police were called, and, I had no choice but to call them, and, they'd come and they'd do their thing, and, when you own not when you own, but when you live somewhere and somebody shows up multiple times and you repeatedly ask them to leave and they don't, you can have that filed as harassment. And so I did just that. And the thing that sucks, I don't know if it works like this everywhere, but in the state that I live in, these stitches are not coming out nice. In the state that I live in New Mexico, when you file for an order of protection, that order of protection is not active until that person has been given the paperwork in person. So they can be aware of the protection, like, they could talk on the phone to the police officer or the courthouse or your attorney or whoever it is, and they could be aware of the paperwork. But if they're not actually given the paperwork in person, then they're not considered like being served, and the papers aren't valid yet in the court until that person actually has been served in person. And it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And for me, that took months. It got to a point where I was granted the order and I could still file violations of the order, even though he hadn't been served, because you can go backwards and say like, okay, now that he's been served, he was aware of this and he was still harassing me this day, this day, this day, this day. That did not go right. You know, and if you get a good judge, you know, you might get lucky and they'll prove, you know, a violation of said order. There was several instances where they wouldn't on mine because they said, oh, we can't do anything about that because, you know, the order wasn't active or whatever it was. But even still, this person decided that they didn't care and they were still going to continue their behavior after they'd been served. And so I was very persistent. And I think that's something that gets very discouraging for people who are in my situation. I hate to use the word victims, but that's what they call you. You know, people when they're in my situation like that is that they get very overwhelmed by the process of having to report and calling the police every single time and doing it over and over and over and over. But that's seriously what it is. So I was granted the temporary order of protection in October. And I'm counting, sorry. 3, 4, 5. I was granted the temporary order in October. Mind you, this person had warrants out for their arrest already. 2 of them weren't because of me. One of them was an open battery case that I had against this person from years ago, where they decided not to finish their probation and they got issued a warrant because they just refused to go to court and handle the situation. So I was able to find, and this is the thing, is that it takes some legwork on your end to make these types of things happen. So I was able to get a group of really good officers. By chance, it ended up catching him and arresting him off of the warrants that he already had. And during that time, the officers served him with the order of protection. So it was lucky that way. And this went on for weeks before they actually caught him. I didn't even tell you guys why I was up. let me finish the story and then I'll take it. It's because I can hear my cat. That took weeks in and of itself, you know. So then we had a bunch of court dates that he didn't show up to, so that only looked better on my end. And then I can't remember when he missed court again and he got arrested again. I think in December, well, in sometime between when the temporary order was put into place. I think I filed the temporary order back in September, but it took that long for him to be served. I'm gonna drink some coffee. That he didn't get served until October when he got arrested because he was running. And after we had a court date in between there, between when the temporary order first was granted and December, because he got arrested again in December. And I was granted a permanent restraint. It's called a protection order, not a restraining order, but I was granted a permanent one for myself, which means that I was granted this order until my children turn 18, and my children were granted a 6-month order from this person. And I wish my children could have had a longer order as well, but they didn't. It just because this person's a family member. Anyway, so I have this order until they turn 18, Now, this person already had this order and was already served with this order, and they were still harassing me. They were still trying to show up here. And mind you guys, like, I have proof of everything. Like, I had recorded phone calls between him and I had recorded video of conversations, like, where he would show up here and I would just start recording everything. I was saving everything, and of course, like, my phone doesn't have unlimited storage, so I was constantly backing everything up. I was emailing myself these conversations, and it takes some work. Let me tell you, this is why, and again, I hate to use the word victims, but this is why victims give up and let their attackers constantly win these battles, is because of how overwhelming the process is. I knew that this was going to be the only way that I was going to be able to make the situation stop, even if it was just temporarily. And so I kept at it. I kept at it, and I kept at it, and I kept at it. And in December, this person finally stopped. For now. You know, it hasn't been easy. I don't have full confidence that this person is going to keep it that way. I really don't. This person is also a known drug user, and they're known for being very unhinged, and it's a scary situation. You know, a couple of years, oh no, I forgot the back stitching up here in those 3 stitches. I will use this thread I have here. A couple of years ago, I went and took a class to carry a handgun, and you know, I never thought that I would be the person who carries my handgun with me everywhere I go, but that has become the situation. You know, if you don't believe in that, then that's completely your right. But I, you know, you think it's funny when, you know, before you're in a situation like this, or before you ever have a need to, or even feel the need to protect yourself in any type of way, you don't think about these things, and you think like that's not, you know, it's not going to happen to me, or I'm not worried about it, or whatever the situation is. But I was truly worried about it. I was very concerned for my safety and the safety of my children. You know, that I started carrying this handgun with me everywhere that I went. You know, I have a safe at home, but I do have a license to carry a concealed weapon. You know, I take classes on it. I have to register and practice in order to maintain this license, and you know, everything's legit, but it's a scary situation. You know, I don't necessarily like having to carry it, or like even the feeling that I might have to pull it out one day to protect myself or to protect my children. And this person still lives in this town, and I've known this person for oh my gosh, I don't know, 15 years or so at this point. And I'd heard, you know, stories from other women and things, but you don't ever think that kind of thing is true. You're just like, oh, they're upset, or you believe the lie instead, you know, like, oh, they're crazy, or they're jealous, or whatever, you know. And it just, until it happens to you, it is all I have to say. Like, you don't fully grasp the severity of the situation or how scary it is until it happens to you. And so that's a huge chunk of the reason of why I want to move. I would just feel better with more distance in between this person and my family. This person still lives in this town, and to my knowledge, they're gonna continue living here. You know, and I have nothing for me in this town. I've mentioned this before. I have no family here. I have friends that I've made, you know, since I've lived here, but to be completely honest, I don't have like super close friends that I rely on for things, people that I call in a pinch, you know, nothing like that. So it's like I'm not gonna use, you know, some kind of close friends that I have here as an excuse to stay in a potential situation that's bad for myself and my family, dangerous, you know. And so that's the main reason why I want to move. You know, not only that, but factor in, you know, of course, the want to be closer to my mom and things like that, you know, all play a part into it. But what started influencing my ideas to go ahead and consider moving is that, you know, and I just don't feel like, I don't think it'll ever stop. So we still have like ongoing court. Every week since January, I have been in court with this person. Granted, it's not in-person court anymore. There has been some instances where we have had to go to court in person, but again, this person doesn't like to show up for court, so of course they don't. And there's certain situations where the court will and will not issue. A lot of time they'll issue a contempt of court if you don't show up. And this person, regarding these instances, I don't know, there's something about it that they don't get issued like a bench warrant for not showing up to court for these. I can't remember what it is. I know a couple of the times, like, he called and said, like, oh, I can't make it, blah, 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 can we do a telephone court? And of course we've said no, but they couldn't issue a failure to appear. I don't know, it's dumb. So, lately, since January, all of the appearances, I'm threading all my needles. When I stitch like this, I think you guys can, I don't know if you can see my needle minders, but I have two. I keep one with my needles that have the thread. Since I'm using the single strand, I just load up I load up 6 needles, because when I pull this off, there's 6 strands, so I want to use the whole thing. I load up all 6 needles on one needle minder, and then I put them, when they're empty, I put them on the other needle minder, and then they're just going to be easy to kind of grab and go. And it also less time stopping while I'm stitching. So anyway, we've been in court every single week. They have been telephonic hearings. Half of them he showed up to, half of them he hasn't. You know, and it is what it is. You know, with all of this, because there was multiple violations of a restraining order, and he finally got an attorney, and that's when he stopped harassing me, was when he got an attorney. And, you know, I think it's great that he finally got an attorney, and it is, oops, I nodded this one, even just appearing to be making better choices. You know, even though I know this person like the back of my hand, and as soon as these violations go away, as soon as a plea is reached or the charges are dropped, whichever, when you do these, it goes to the district attorney's office. And so the district attorney is very aware of my what's the right word? Like, I'm not dropping this, in other words. So, you know, and the district attorney is very aware of that. We're in court every week. I talk to the DA every week. You know, and I don't know. So I feel like once these charges are settled, I think that this person's going to go back into doing what they were doing. Just all my years being around this person, and and knowing them, I'm not confident that it's going to stay as quiet as it's been right now. But, you know, it's like at the same time, it's like, what can I do, you know, except for try to create a better life for my kids. And I believe that not living in the same town as this person is going to help that. And sure, I mean, they could decide to move wherever I go, but I think that that's a slimmer possibility than, you know, them leaving this town because all their family's here and mine's not, you know. I need to see what time it is. Okay. So back to why I'm awake. Oh, yeah. It's not even 6:30 yet. But my cat, so I have 2 cats and I have 2 litter boxes. And I know it's not very good for the environment, but I use these sifting litter box liners, and they can be very loud at times. And my cat, he likes to go into the litter box and scratch and scratch and scratch and scratch and scratch and scratch. And it's very annoying. And the litter box liners, I don't know why. He's a big guy. He weighs like 15 pounds, right? And so when he's in the litter box and he turns around, he is like kicking with his back legs, and his front paws are on top of like the entry to the litter box, and the liners go over that part, and they have a lid. My litter boxes have a lid. Ow, stab myself. My litter boxes have a lid because they make such a big mess. They're like to have the litter boxes that are covered to prevent, you know, all that nonsense from getting everywhere. Look at I just opened like a big, I don't know if you guys can see like how messed up this finger is from stitching and poking myself all the time. Anyway, he likes to mess up the litter box and cause havoc with the litter freaking everywhere. And so he just scratches the liner, and it may at some point towards the end of the liners, because it comes with 10, you know, and you stack them up on top of one another, he wait, okay, it wears holes in the liners, you know. And so he was doing that at 5 o'clock this morning. And then I've been keeping my bathroom door closed because for some reason, if there's even one article of clothing on the floor in the bathroom, and I share my bathroom with my daughters, so I have 2 girls and a boy. I live in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhouse, but you know, my girls and my boy have always been weird about sharing the bathroom, which is fine. So my daughters share a bathroom with me. And if there's even one article of clothing on the floor, he will pee on them. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the moisture in the bathroom, because it's a small bathroom. So when you shower, there's a lot of built up moisture in there. You know, and it stays in there for longer because we never have the window open, and you know, I don't know. So he will pee on it. And so I've been keeping the bathroom door closed so that won't happen. You know, my girls, sometimes they go in there and they change and I don't notice, and they leave their clothes on the floor, you know, and I'll wake up in the morning and, you know, everything will be peed on. And so it's just, I don't know what the hell. So I've been keeping the bathroom door closed. So then after the whole litter box thing, and I had to get up and I had to bang on the litter box so that he'll run out. And this was all at 5 in the morning. So he was standing like up against the door, pawing the door, and I could just hear the shh, 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 Well, he was trying to open the freaking bathroom door, and I was like, oh my god, what is he freaking doing? I thought that he got locked in the closet for some reason, and then I was like half asleep thinking, no, he was just in the litter box. There's no way he could be locked in the closet. So I got up, pushed him away from the door, and then he climbed on top of my desk, and he was pushing all of my sewing, like my sewing clips, the Wonder clips, you know, because I use those to hold my projects together while they're waiting to be sewn. He was pushing all those off my desk. He was pushing all the pencils and pens everywhere, and I was like, oh my god, just so freaking frustrated. So I was like, what is this dude's problem? So I got up, I came into the kitchen, and realized that he was out of water, and he gets super annoying when he's out of food or water. So I filled up his water and I put it back, and that didn't help. I went to go to the bathroom. He goes charging into the bathroom as soon as I open the door, and you know, obviously I have to pee, and he jumps on the toilet and he's walking back and forth. Ugh, I was just so freaking irritated. So I tried to lay down. That didn't work. I was just laying there. So I started watching a stitching video for a couple of minutes, and finally my arms got tired of holding the camera and the phone, and so I was like, you know what, just screw this. I'm just gonna get up. I made some coffee, and I decided, you know what, I knew I was gonna stitch at that point, and so I thought, you know what, I might as well just record a stitch with me to get it out of the way, because I knew, you know, I know I need the stitch with me anyway, and I was planning on recording a stitch with me this morning anyway, so, you know, here we are. So that's why I'm awake right now. And then right now, you know, I'm awake, and he's just laying there all calm, cool, and collected, like if freaking nothing, nice and calm, not bothering anybody. Freaking cats, man. Oh, that's another issue that I was having. So, the townhouse that I lived in, or that I'm living in, it's only cat friendly, right? So I didn't have any of my pets when I moved into this house because they were all being taken care of by my ex's family. And after a couple of months, you know, they were like, well, you know, it came to be where I needed to take the pets back. So there was one dog and two cats, and so I was like, okay. So I think this was in, I don't know, October or November, somewhere around there. And so I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but we're gonna figure it out, right? So I talked to the office, and I told them, like, look, they're not gonna stay here permanently, but I can't afford to pay the pet deposit and to pay a higher rent because they charge you, I can't remember if it's $25 or $35 per pet. Not to mention that they're only cat friendly, they're not dog friendly. So my rent was gonna go up, right? Or no, it's $50 per pet because my rent went up $100. So I told him, like, look, like, I'm gonna find them new homes. Like, can you just give me time? So they said yeah, and I guess they misunderstood what I said. I don't freaking know what they did. So my dog was here for 2 months, I think, and they made a big deal about it. They were like, she can't be here, la la la. And I was like, I talked to management before. Like, you guys told me that she could stay here while I rehomed her. And they were like, well, she barked at the maintenance guy. And I was like, I didn't have any grounds for this. They said that we weren't home. Maintenance was here. Not like here in my house, but like in the vicinity of my yard, and that she went outside. And I was like, okay, first of all, like, she's never outside when we're not here. Like, there's no like fence. There's like a small, like, I don't know, 2-foot wall. And I was like, I don't leave her outside when we leave because of that reason. And when I do let her out, like, I stay out there with her because I'm afraid she's gonna jump the wall and take off. So anyway, they were like, we're gonna charge you a $250 pet unauthorized pet fee. And this was a different person than the original person that I had talked to. So then I talked to the person that I originally talked to, and I was like, hey, you know, like, I thought you said that I was clear to do this until such and such time. And she was like, oh, I misunderstood what you meant, and you know, we can't work with you on that. Like, you're gonna have to get rid of her. So then they gave me 7 days to get rid of her at that point, and I was like, oh my god. So of course, I didn't rehome her. I gave her to a close friend, not a close friend. I gave her to a close family friend, until such time that I can collect her again. So that's another reason why, like, I'm gonna have to move anyway, because I'm gonna have to find a place that I'm gonna have to, you know, I need to get her back, because this person's made it very clear that they don't want her, you know, and so I need to find a better situation for her. And then not only that, my rent went up again because of the pets. So when I first moved into this apartment, this townhouse, they didn't include the pet addendum because I said that I had no pets. And so I didn't fill out any of the paperwork for the pets because I didn't have any. So I wasn't aware of the pet deposit. And so then they charged me a non-refundable pet deposit that, you know, the several $100s. Plus the back rent of when I first got the pets and I was supposed to be rehoming them. And that, I was so freaking frustrated about that. And so, you guys, what little bit of savings I did have saved went to that. Like, I have absolutely no savings left because I had to pay those fees. So I'm pretty frustrated with that because, you know, you're told one thing and then you have to do something else because management or whatever, you know. So that was already very frustrating as it was. So the cats were supposed to go stay with a family member, a very close family member, and then this family member decided at the last minute that they weren't gonna take the pets. And so I was like, you know, for a whole month I was under the impression that this person was going to take the pets, that they were going to watch them for me. They already, or the cats anyway, they already have a cat. So, you know, it was like just, you know, a couple of months, you know, we were already into the new year at this point. It's like until I figured something out, because at that point, like, I knew I had to move, whether I moved out of town or not, or just got a new place here in this town, I was gonna have to move regardless because of the pets. And so they said okay, and then at the last minute they decided that they weren't gonna watch them, and so I had no choice but to pay the pet deposit and to add on the pet rent here at this place because of that. And it's fine, like, I can't get upset at somebody for choosing to not watch them. Like, watching pets is a lot of work, you know, that type of thing. So it was frustrating, I'll admit that, you know, expecting something to happen and then having a different outcome. It is what it is. I don't think I ever told you guys what I was stitching on, did I? I know I said I was going to put a picture up, but I don't know if I actually said what I was working on. So this is Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. I was lucky enough to get this when it was free. So when, and a lot of people were saying that they weren't stitching at the time, or they didn't know about Long Dog Samplers at the time. But when the pandemic first happened in 2020, Long Dog almost immediately came out with this pattern, like a couple of months, maybe not even that, a couple of months later. And at that time, I only had Death by Cross Stitch, and I was like, I don't know. And I downloaded it anyway because I was like, you know what? I think I do like this one. And I started it right away, and I only had, I don't know if you can see, like just this top border and part of this right here. That was it. And so I've done all of this in the past like week or so. And so I don't know if you guys can see again. I had to sew on some extra fabric on this side over here because I couldn't stitch this part because it was too close. This is like the end of the fabric right here. And I wanted a page finish. And so I was like, I can't finish this part until I sew some fabric on there. So not only that, but it's going to be a problem for that whole entire side unless I sew something on there. So that's what I did. And I'm trying to get a page finish because I did a lot over here. And so I have this left to finish this page. I'm pretty sure you guys can see that. So that's what I'm trying to do, is finish this page. I'm adamant on finishing this page so I can toss it, and then I'm almost done with this second page over here on this side. I'm probably, well, I'd say I'm like 2/3 of the way done on the second page over there. Depending on what direction you go. I don't know if I'm going to keep going to the right or if I'm going to come down, because I think this other page, I have some stuff to, I don't even know if you guys can see any of this. I have some stuff to do here, and then I think there's some more on this side. I'm not, on the pages over there, I can't reach it from here, but it is what it is. So anyway, I'm going to stop this. I can, I think I have enough time to edit this video before I have to get my kids up for school. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this stitch with me. I'm sorry that I was a Debbie Downer. It's just, that's my life right now. I keep getting asked how to sign up for Floss of the Month. I have included a direct link down in the description box. In one of my comments I was noticing this morning, I said it's link in my bio. No, the link is not in my bio. I meant the description box. The link is in the description box below. So you go to the description box, and I think it's the second link. The first link is to my Patreon, and then the second link is to the Floss of the Month. So I still have several spots open for Floss of the Month. I would love it if you guys signed up. April's floss is ready to go. Normally it's not until after April 15th or the 15th-ish of the month, but April's is done. If you want to sign up for Floss of the Month, you will receive your April order right away, and then in May you'll be billed again for May. What else? Oh, there's also a buy me a coffee link in the description box below. It's been there for a while. It's a couple of links down, so you'll have to look for it, but they're all there if you just read the description box. And yeah, you guys, that's it. I'm gonna go, and hopefully this came out good so that I can put it up for you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one.